Also, we need 98 minutes to draw games or win the games. Arsenal need 25 minutes to go 0-3 or 3-0 every game.
Super strong. And that's what they are. Now you bring in Rice and Havertz, that doesn't make you worse. Mikel built exactly the team he wants. Fast, good technique, very good organization. They're really well coached. They have really my respect.
Maybe Arsenal are performing to the absolutely maximum. I've stopped counting the goals they've scored, and some of you probably got it, the number. Is how much?
31 in the last 7.
31 in the last 7.
We've got Super Mikel Arteta. I can't even lie to you lot. It is good times to be an Arsenal fan. This Spanish genius who came to England and is more known for his time at Everton, obviously spent time as a player at Arsenal Football Club, has retired and is now our manager, and Arsenal are back roaring. I must admit, again, you lot would have seen the heavy Mikel Arteta propaganda I've been continuously pushing on my channel. I wouldn't even refer to it personally as propaganda because I'm a big fan of telling you lot the truth or what I believe is my truth. I like to hold my hands up if I was wrong. There's been times Mikel Arteta could have been sacked, would have been sacked, should have been sacked under different contexts, but this football club remained loyal to the project and what they wanted to do. And I won't quite say we've hit the highlights, but we're reaping the benefits of that. Mikel Arteta is just crushing it across all statistics. We're the envy of the Premier League. Lord knows if we're able to have a season that we remember, but you can see we have to be, I'm not going to say we're the neutrals' favorite in terms of enjoyable football. You don't have to like us, but you now have to respect this football club again. You've seen what we've done, you've seen what we're doing, and you can see that this football club is on the verge of brilliant. Let's be honest, Arsenal fans, including myself, we found ourselves walking down this lonely road of really and truly, because of our ties to the football club, and you can't swap your football team, blindlessly supporting our team, really and truly being disillusioned with the regime and where this football club was heading. That was until Mikel Arteta walked into the football club and changed our fortunes. In life, you have to enjoy the journey as much as you have to enjoy the final destination. It's filled with moments of turmoil, moments of pain, moments of suffering, and moments of success. If you don't go through those trials and tribulations, then you can never really and truly comprehend and be truly appreciative of whatever goal or goals you collectively set out for yourself, or in a footballing sense, Arsenal winning trophies. Mikel Arteta has inspired us again. Now there's a reason to be optimistic. There's a reason to have faith. There's a reason to get behind something. It is well known that I notoriously always say I don't look at the league table, but allegedly, according to reports, Arsenal sit top of the mountain. We sit at the summit and the stars are aligning. And what felt like what was a very cold December/winter period, in which towards the end of 2023 we obviously lost to West Ham, Aston Villa and Fulham, feels like a dark cloud in a shining light of a season. In fact, the sun is now shining. Since the turn of the year, it is a fact. We have been the best performing team in 2024. We're keeping clean sheets, we're scoring goals, we're showing resilience. Every game Mikel Arteta is showing more gears to his tactical acumen and things of that nature. Rotated players are making the difference. Starting 11 players are continuously getting better. The summer signings are all showing their worth and proving why they were signed. We're suffocating teams, starving oppositions, killing their hope every second into a football match. We're showing a variety of game plans. We can go head to head, gunshot for gunshot. We can do mid and low blocks. Either way, we're just killing teams, really. We can do the chess match thing. There's not a single thing that these players cannot do. As I always say on my platform, the dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. But from using my eyes and the data and analytics that support such, it's hard not to believe that we're moving in the right direction. It is very difficult not to dream. The numbers being crunched, when you look at our defending, or better yet, our defensive and offensive stats, what the subs are doing, what the club is doing across all fragments, it's hard not to believe that everything is aligning in the right direction. We finally look like a team during the Emirates era that is aspiring to be on the Bayern Munich level and win the sort of major honours us fans' hearts desire, if I'm completely honest. It feels like every component that has been assembled in this system on and off the field is finally all in synergy and all in sync and working together. Forgive me, people, but it does feel like when you look at everything that the stars are aligning for this football club, and we're finally announcing ourselves or re-announcing ourselves back as a Premier League and European footballing dynasty, and hopefully we can win the trophies to match. It feels like the target is in sight. It feels like it's close. We just need to lock, load, aim for the target and complete the mission. It's as simple as that, folks. It's so close, but yet so far. And I must admit, my Arsenal fans, while I'm upbeat about my football club, I'm proud of my football club. I'm proud of Mikel Arteta, the owners, the support staff that work off the field. Obviously, the players that ultimately have to go out there and transmit what Arteta demands and win football matches. I've always loved my football club, but it's nice to see players have some pride in the shirt and pride in themselves. But there are reasons for optimism and there are reasons for nervousness and all of the emotions as this three-horse race between Manchester City, Liverpool and Arsenal continue. We're relative new kids on the block. Liverpool and City have done it with Pep and Klopp. There's reasons to be optimistic. There's also reasons to be nervous, because as much as I like what my football club is doing, where we're going, where we're heading, you know, as much as the destination is what we want to see, I am enjoying the process. You know, I cast my mind back to last year where we were a breath of fresh air, but ultimately the season ended in heartbreak. So can we win it or not? Let me know. Can we win it? Can Arsenal win the Premier League? Can Mikel Arteta claim his first major honour as a managerial coach and tip off a fantastic story from when he walked into this football club to where we're at the moment and where we're going? You know, I've got big admiration for the manager. You got to remember, this is his first job and it's a terrible example, but I compare Mikel Arteta at the point of walking into Arsenal Football Club to where he is now as someone that doesn't know anything about swimming, let alone had swimming lessons, and they found the most difficult, darkest swimming pool they could jump in with the strongest currents, and they've just jumped in without knowing how to survive. In life, if you're not outside of your comfort zone, then you can't really and truly develop. So for me, more than anything, away from why I'd obviously want to win it as an Arsenal fan, because I don't support Mikel Arteta or the players, you know, they play for Arsenal, but I support Arsenal Football Club. I would like it to be done for Mikel Arteta to show that he can do it. I would love the players to do it because they've been filled with some really good highs and some really good lows. And for me, I believe we can do it purely because it's quote unquote in our hands. Now, you know, what you do with that, I don't know. You know, at this moment in time, as I said, there's reasons to be optimistic. There's reasons to be bullish. There's reasons to maybe be pessimistic and everything. Now, more than ever, for me, we need to keep a cool head. We just need to keep doing what we're doing and manage the season correctly. Of course, it's simple. We win all our games. We win the Premier League. But I believe there's genuinely going to be many twists, turns, bumps and bruises. We've got some difficult games. We've got a target on our backs, people. You know, I love the defending we're doing, as I've said throughout the key of this video, because, you know, defense win titles, and it's not just our defenders, which have all added something and getting better and better. It goes down to the midfielders, the positioning they take up, the recoveries, the second balls, etc., or whoever's playing up front. You know, when Martin Odegaard joins the press as well, our first defenders are our strikers, our first attackers are obviously our defenders and goalies. And when you see what Mikel Arteta has done at this football club, you know, a lot of the things that he's doing right now, he's tried to do at other times. We didn't have the players that were good enough, whether it was because of ability, whether it because they were physically able, whether they just simply weren't good enough. So you've seen the building blocks. But I want to be on the right side of history, because while I think last season was positive, regardless of how this season ends, I feel it's positive for Arsenal. The winners win and the losers explain. History is only kind to the winners. You know, 20 years from now, God forbid, but if Arteta and the boys don't do anything, we're not really going to necessarily remember now. We need to etch our names in history. Now, for the players, I hope they can do it. You know, one thing I have liked is that we seem to learn our lessons. You know, you go back to the season we lost out to Spurs for top four. The season that followed, I know a lot of it was said around winning the Premier League, which ultimately we didn't do. but we learned our lessons and got top 4 as a minimum. Last year, we was taken into uncharted waters, and while we had a good season, we couldn't get over the line. Hopefully this season we can. Ultimately, it's in our hands. Now we're top on goal difference. We just need to keep doing what we're doing, and this is why football is a good game, but also a simple game. You score more goals than 9 teams out of 10. You concede less by the same logic. You're doing all right. I don't think it will come down to goal difference, but if it does come down to goal difference, we're doing all right. And to say we've got a better goal difference than Manchester City is unheard of. To know we've been competitive in the top 6 clashes and won the majority of them is unheard of. And I'm not saying Arsenal are the biggest and baddest and best team ever, and we don't have, building blocks to improve upon, etc., etc. But when we have dropped points this season, there has been some relative optimism. The only games that I would say there was no positives would be in the Premier League, would be Fulham away, terrible game if I'm completely honest with you. Other than that, it's almost like our worst enemies are ourselves, because against Newcastle, we didn't create or score, but the other fragments were good. Aston Villa, we couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. West Ham couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Shot ourselves in the foot at Spurs at home, Chelsea away, Fulham at home, and if we could eradicate those, then we're doing what we can, really. We're getting the fine margins, even down to set pieces. As we get better and we become more of a known quantity, teams will kind of try to mitigate against what we're doing. But I also have confidence because Mikel Arteta, I don't think we've majorly changed how we played last season to now. The core values are still there, but Mikel Arteta is always, tweaking and tinkering things and making us a bit more unpredictable. I'm confident in our boys learning the mistakes of last season. I think, psychologically, we've got a lot more resilience. We're buying more into it, and there's a lot more pride in the shirt and themselves and their ability to react to setbacks. Because while 9 times out of 10, it's been plain sailing this season, when it hasn't gone our way or we've had to show resilience, or, a couple teammates are not quite up to it, in previous years, the narrative would have been painted around those, like Ramsdale versus Brentford. On another day, we drew that 1-1. Ramsdale's the talking point, in which Ramsdale was, but we got the job done. The experienced players are leading by example. The young players are relishing responsibility. The squad players are coming in and making an impact. We're coping with injuries. We're scoring goals. We're doing everything that I want to see, and I'm sure a lot of you. The only issue is it does come down to fine margins, and hindsight's a wonderful thing. We can't go back in the past. We can only make peace with it. But if we do obviously not get this over the line, assuming we keep winning all the games, we are going to look back to how 2023 ended. And unfortunately, you're playing this madman. Arteta's a madman, but you're playing this madder man in Pep Guardiola and what he's given to the game. You've got Klopp in Liverpool in his last season and that kind of sort of stuff. The job is simple. We do what we need to do. We win these games. We've won the title. We don't do that, we're out of things. And what I would say to these boys, some of you have, you look at Ramsdale to a degree, Benjamin White. You have been here and Saka and a couple of others. You've been here since Mikel Arteta first kind of started this. If not when he first walked through the door, you was assigned to this club very, very quickly. So you lot have been on this journey. So it'd be lovely to see you lot rewarded, as well as the existing, the new players, who have brought something to the table as well. It'd be nice to know that these boys, in moments where, because let's not be naive. Any of you lot in your jobs or anything you do in the working environment, you might like your core job or profile, but the little tasks that you need to do, it's not enjoyable necessarily. The process can't be. You look at Mike Tyson and Anthony Joshua and all these boxers. Do you think they want to be jogging at 4 a.m? It's necessary, the discipline and all of these things. So it'd be nice to see that sort of stuff rewarded. It's very easy to buy into stuff when things are going well. It's very easy to praise the club when things are going well, but for those players that had the resilience to keep trusting the process, and even Mikel Arteta, there had to be points where he probably doubted himself, he didn't trust himself. It would be lovely to get over the line. For me personally, with the 7 or so Premier League games to go, every game, as cliche as it is, every game is a cup final. Every game is going to go down to the wire. We've got a target on our back. You look at Chelsea, Spurs, Manchester United, all they can do is kind of ruin our season. As much as I like, how we've performed against all the bigger teams or the teams in the Prem that can present you with issues, do the double over Brighton, for example. What we say about Brighton, that's not easy. We still didn't win at Anfield. We still didn't win at the Etihad. Our record at Old Trafford, regardless of what Manchester United have been like post Sir Alex Ferguson, is appalling. We need to win that game. North London derby, we need to win that in particular for me. Wolves away with Gary O'Neill, who I believe is one of the most underrated managers in the Premier League. We need to go and win that. There isn't any margin for error. And in the same way, You look back like 2 weeks ago when Arsenal and City drew, Liverpool were laughing. You look at last weekend, Liverpool obviously, dropped points and Arsenal are laughing. You've got the backdrop of you can never write off Manchester City. They've been there, done it, wore the t-shirt. Klopp and Liverpool have got the experience and they've done it in, it's his last season. I'm sure they would want to win it. We're new kids on the block. I hope the negative experiences, particularly how the season ended last year, is the fuel to the fire, because they're human at the end of the day. The pain of discipline hurts in life, let alone football, but it hurts a lot less than the feeling of regret, because you can't do anything about that. Regardless of how the season pans out, for me, I'm proud of my boys, because while they tell you that participating is all that matters and stuff, you want to win stuff, but I'm proud of the boys and the journey and that we're going on. And for me, in basic premises of football, you buy into something, whether you're an Arsenal fan, whatever team you support, whatever skin color, wherever you are in this world, however you came to support Arsenal Football Club, maybe because of your family, maybe just because you like the players at the time, or the t-shirt, or your friends, or however you ended up supporting this club, it's because you buy into something. And, in theory, supporting the football club, people, does not make sense. It doesn't, because we can't change any realities. We spend, or I definitely do, and I'm sure you lot do, talking about this club all day, every day. It's something that some of you will change girlfriends and boyfriends and jobs and friends and et cetera, et cetera. Unless you're crazy, you will not change your football club. And despite everything, we keep following it. And it's nice to see, yes, I want to win trophies. An Arsenal Football Club that should be doing that stuff and doing the higher echelon stuff in terms of the Premier League. But it's about the team reflecting you. It's about that man and woman, young and old, that are going to work, school, college, whatever they're doing with their lives from Monday to Friday. They're filled with excitement on the weekend because they know their football club is playing. And regardless of win, losing, or drawing, there's a certain level of how we're carrying ourselves. And it's lovely to see, really and truly. And I would love to get over the line, man. Do I think we can win the title? I can't convincingly say yes, but I am confident in our ability to give it a real good go. I think, the improvements Mikel Arteta has made in terms of the recruitment and tactically, I think the players' mentality is becoming that of champions, especially reacting to setbacks and when things are going wrong. I think there's more maturity and consistency in our performances. Typically, we either was at 0 or 100. Obviously, when we're at 100, we're great, but sometimes we manage games. We're boxing a lot smart. We know when to punch players or opponents. We know when to lure them into a false sense of security. I think the best, how do I make it make sense? I think the best, sometimes in life, I think the best motivation can be heartbreak, and in football's terms, last year was heartbreak for us. So I think there's that. So I'm filled with confidence that we could win it. I can't go as far as to say, like, if we was Manchester City, regardless of what we've done this season, that we can get it done. But I think we've got a good chance. And it is difficult not to believe that the stars are aligning and that we can't get this over the line, people. It needs to happen. Ivan Gazidis famously said, we want to be on Bayern Munich level, etc. During the Emirates era, I know we've been in a couple of title challenges in the early 2000s, obviously the Leicester year and last year, but this feels like one where it genuinely feels quote unquote attainable. Now we need to win our games. We need hopefully the boys in and around us fighting for these drop points. We need to win our games. We need to keep everybody fit. Even on that, to know that, again, in the build up to the Bayern Munich game, everybody is back. Obviously, fitness is at various lengths. The Jesuses, the Sinchenkos, the Partes, the Tomiyasus, Timber at the point of being back into the team. Fitness levels is a bit guided. Some people can play 20, 40, 60, 90 minutes, but we need every player. We need every player, and it'd be nice, man. It's about time this football club had something to scream and shout about in terms of trophies, because under what Mikel Arteta is doing and the players, there's plenty to love internally for us Arsenal fans. If I was to say to you, lot, who is player of the year, 9 times out of 10, it would be, even of recent, you would just say blindly Bukayo Saka, where take nothing away from Saka. He could be a candidate. Declan Rice could be a candidate. Benjamin White, Gabriel and Saliba deserve their plaudits in that regards. Martin Odegaard deserves his plaudits. A bit of an unpopular decision, and I'm forcing it, but just based on how he's playing at the moment, Kai Havertz, really and truly. And that's another thing, the club has stood firm in their decisions. Now, people make mistakes. I'm sure if you asked Arteta from what he's achieved at Arsenal to now, he would maybe have done things differently. That's everybody. But the large majority of the unpopular decisions have worked perfectly, where you look at Benjamin White, Ramsdale, Kai Havertz at the moment, and actually sticking with Arteta and believing in what we're doing when externally beyond us liking the little isms and schisms of what Arteta was doing, there weren't really a reason to believe. So we stood firm in our beliefs. But, you know, all your hard work needs to happen now. And if we do win, you know, as I just said earlier, if we do lose, we're going to look back to the December period, or how the year ended last year. If we do win this Premier League, for me, I think you've got to look at that period as well, and obviously how we came out of it and the Dubai trip. You know, I want to see documentaries about this. I want Arsenal to win the Premier League and then retain it. And obviously, I think the Premier is more attainable this year. But for me, we need to win the Champions League. You know, that's the end goal for me with Mikel Arteta. You know, win Premier Leagues, win every trophy we can be in. Who doesn't want to do that? But if there's one thing that keeps me up at night beyond the obvious with this football club, it's our European pedigree. Arsenal, I'm 28, 29 on the 13th of April. Arsenal fans younger than me, Arsenal fans way older than me, you know, myself. Unfortunately, where you think of Arsenal in Europe is filled with heartache. It's filled with pain. There have been some good moments, beating Inter Milan, beating Real Madrid, beating Barcelona, beating Bayern Munich, you know, other little things and isms and schisms there. But I want this club to be the envy of the world. This club needs to do something. And for me, you know, it's not always going to be like this, but you look at Chelsea, Man United, they're in a transitional period. Pep Guardiola has to leave Manchester City one day. Take nothing away from them. They're always going to be great because they're Man City, and they've got, you know, if Arteta was to leave right now, you know, if Arteta was to leave right now and a couple of other things, I think Man City are the best placed club at the point of somebody leaving to kind of cope with life after Pep Guardiola. In that, post Alex Ferguson did not work out. Post Wenger at the moment is working out. Didn't work out under Emery, you know. But when that happens, it won't be Pep Guardiola. It won't be a generational coach. I'm not saying it won't be a great, fantastic coach, but it won't be the big bad bully that Pep's been for the last, it's probably even 20 years now. So my point of saying that, and obviously Spurs are shit, so forget talking about them. And you never know what's going to happen. Newcastle's on the horizon. You know, you can never, you know, discount a Leicester-esque title winning campaign and things. But for me, I want to take advantage of stuff because it feels like in terms of our process, our project, our togetherness, the fragments of this football club we want to see, we've got some solidity. We've got that, and other teams don't. So while they're in these transitional periods, you know, even Liverpool are going to go over that with Klopp. Can we, you know, make some memories, make some history, and do what we need to do? The time is now. There's no time to wait. So who knows if we're going to win the Premier League trophy? But I can't convincingly say we are, but it's hard not to believe that we can't give a good account of ourselves and force this all the way. That's all I've got to say though, folks, man. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please, please, please make sure you're subscribing and hitting the like button, turning on your notifications. We're almost at 60,000 subscribers. The journey before the end of the year is 70k, and I can't do it with you lot. In the same way Arsenal have been on a process, some of you have been on this process from day one or relative recent or whatever, but it's a DG Nation thing. So make sure you're hitting the like button. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And all of that good stuff. Peace.